Well, what do I have on this table before me today but a lot of cool, awesome parts for a long-range gun. I've been wanting to get into long-range shooting for many, many years now, but I never have had the rifle to do that. So I wanted to build a rifle that had all the best parts I could find and build this thing so I could not only shoot long range and ring steel at extended yardages, but also to be able to hunt should I want to go on an elk hunt or a mule deer hunt or something like that, where I could extend my range, or even those early season crop damage permits we get here in Michigan. So I chose to go with a 300 Winchester short magnum. It was kind of a do-all gun. I could do everything with it, but it would also be that long range gun that I wanted. So let's just go through some of these parts that I've got in front of me to see what kind of stuff I've got lined up. It's really cool and I'm getting really excited about it. So first of all, we've got a Manners composite long range hunter. This stock has it all. It's got an adjustable cheek piece, goes up and down. You put shims in it so it's even lighter than the ones that are quickly adjustable. But once you get this adjusted to your face, you don't have to adjust it again, but it has carbon fiber shims that you put in here. You can adjust that. It's got an ARCA rail right in front of the box magazine. It's got another rail up front so you can mount a bipod on the front. It's got flush mount sling studs on both the butt and the forearm. And this thing is sweet. It's all carbon fiber. It's inletted for my action and also the bottom metal that I chose. Speaking of that, I went with an M5 bottom metal from Hawkins Precision. This is a detachable box magazine. I wanted the option to be able to have a couple magazines in my pocket. This one is almost flush. Barely any of this magazine sticks out below the bottom of the gun. I'm basically just going to have the end cap of the magazine sticking out below the bottom of the stock. So it's a very flush mounted magazine. Very good, high quality metal from Hawkins Precision there. Moving on to the trigger, I went with a Timney HIT trigger. This thing is unbelievable. Timney's been making triggers for years and years and years. It says right on the box, over 75 years. And of course, like all Timney triggers, it comes with a Tootsie Roll pop when you buy one. So around 2 pounds is what I have it set at. And it will be very, very clean and crisp because I've had Timney triggers before and they are all excellent. Going to the barrel, I chose to go with a Bartlein carbon fiber wrapped barrel. Not necessarily for the weight. If you are to compare a carbon fiber wrapped barrel to a stainless steel barrel, you're not going to find a whole lot of weight advantage there, but you are going to find cooling capabilities of carbon fiber wrapped barrel. And let's just face it, it looks cool. That's why I did it. So we're going to have a carbon fiber wrapped barrel from Bartlein. On to the scope, I went with a Leupold VX5 with a CDS reticle on top, and I went with the Windplex. My thought on that is to be able to get on, dial the range, and hold for wind. So I'm going to be able to dial quickly for range, hold for wind, and I'm hoping that will do me well. I'm kind of familiar with that, and that's what I'm comfortable with. So that's what I went with. VX5 with a Windplex reticle and a CDS on top. So that'll be a fun one. To mount that on the base, I went with Warne Mountain Tech rings. These rings are very, very lightweight, but very heavy duty. They are CNC machined aluminum, 7075 T6 aluminum. So they're very high strength. They're not going to break on you. I also opted to go with a universal scope level from Warne as well. And the Warne scope level, the reason I went with this one is it slides out. You can actually slide the level out and slide it back in so it doesn't snag on stuff when you're walking through the brush. It's not up on top of your scope, so it's hard to see when you're down in your scope getting ready to shoot. It pops out from the side so you can see it really well, and then when you're walking around you can slide that thing back in. It'll be nice and compact and it's not going to snag on things when you're walking around. And then on to the action. This one is one that I thought about for a long time. I wanted to go with a short action gun, that's why I went with a 300 Winchester short magnum, but I decided to go with a Zermatt Arms TL3 action. So this action is very, very slick. This has a black nitride body on it. It has a mechanical extractor on there, so as slow as you move this bolt, it'll still extract the shell. Very, very high quality. It's got a pinned Picatinny rail on top with 20 MOA built into it, integral recoil lug, and I tell you what, this is about as solid of an action as you can get. This thing will shoot, and I am excited to put it together. So now that we've got all these parts in stock and ready to go, we're gonna head down to Bear Creak Ballistics right here in my home state of Michigan, and we're gonna put this gun together. Jeff and Christian Shirey are the guys behind the curtain at Bear Creak Ballistics. They put together high-end, ultra-accurate rifles specializing in straight-walled cartridges that are legal here in the Midwest. Not only do they build rifles, but they also test and develop high-velocity ammunition that'll help hunters get the maximum out of their rifles. This is why they were the first call when I decided to do this build.
So I indicated here right at the face of the breech, and concentricity was perfect, and then I moved the indicating needle out here at the end, and you can see it's still out by about just shy of a thou, and that means there's still angularity that I got to take out of the indicating rod using the jam nuts in the front. So basically got to redo the process until it's perfect. That's just about perfect. Yeah, you can feel that. There shouldn't be any wobble, and it should just be a nice fluid fit, and it should lock up, and it should pop if you got a real nice surface. With these, you should be able to, as long as I cut it right. Yep, it should drop right in. Nice. Now it's ready for chamber.
See how it floats? So as this cuts, I mean, Christian's got it indicated in just about perfect, but this can have up to probably 5 to 10 thousandths worth of float and still cut on center and give you a good part. This is a lot more accurate way to do it, but it's a lot more time consuming way to do it as well. But you gotta get your speeds and your feeds right, and you get the rate at which you push the reamer in. You gotta be real careful. Still got a little bit, really close. We're probably within a few thousandths. There we go. Okay, let's see where we're at. Bingo, we got a winner. Perfect. So what we did here is the first step was to bond the pillars in. Pillar at each point where there's a screw coming through to attach the barrel to the bottom metal. And then once those had dried, we came back and you can see we make a couple little relief cuts right here to ensure that we get good epoxy flow and bonding between the stock body and the epoxy. And what we're trying to do is create a perfect mirror image of the receiver into the stock, so that when this gun recoils, it is always coming back to the same spot every time to give us the most consistent accuracy profile possible. Exactly. So when we're breaking in a new rifle, I will clean a barrel before I shoot it, and it's the same sequence that I use after I shoot it. We'll put 3 rounds through it, get it on target, so we're happy that we're close to the center of the target at 25 yards or 30 yards. Put a bore guide in because you want to save your chamber in your throat. And then we use Vortec products, always use brass or aluminum guides and a bronze brush. Don't want any steel on the inside of that barrel, don't want anything that's an abrasive compound in that barrel, because that barrel's been made to a very close or very level of high precision, and you want to keep it that way. All you're trying to do is clean the fouling out. If there's any rough edges or something like that, you're trying to make sure that you get rid of those with that cleaning operation. So with a lap barrel like this, I don't clean it as much as I would if a barrel wasn't lapped. This procedure's worked well for us, and we just continue to follow it. So I'll put 2 patches of carbon remover through it, a patch of copper remover through it, and then I'll put the bronze brush in it, and I'll stroke it about 6 to 10 times, let it sit for a few minutes, so if there's any copper falling in there, I get that out, and then I'll come back and I'll put the copper falling remover through it with 2 patches and then a clean patch, and then we'll go shoot it again. We'll do 2 of this. This is the carbon remover. So when you fire a shell, the first layer is a carbon layer, and then you have to get through the carbon layer to get to the copper.
So you do 2 patches of carbon remover, and then you do how many of copper?
I'll use either 1 or 2, depending on the barrel. A lap barrel like this, I'll probably just use 1 patch of copper remover, and then I'll go with the bronze brush. I'll put the copper remover on the bronze brush, so that it helps it work a little bit better when it takes out the any copper fouling that might be in the barrel. You can see I already got some copper on there coming out. And I'll go just beyond the barrel, so the brush just goes out and has a chance for bristles to come out, and then I'll go back, being very careful not to bang off the crown when you come back. You know, we put a lot of time into trying to make sure that that crown was as precise, perpendicular to that center line as you possibly could.
Patch at the end.
Yep. You're doing a dry patch through to get everything out. That's it.
Jeff and Christian did a fantastic job of putting this rifle together, and it was now time to hit the range, finish breaking in the barrel, and hit the woods.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to my daddy's channel.